It is a pleasure to invite Mr. Ravi Saxena to deliver his address. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. Mr. Y.J. Trivedi ji, the chairman of this chapter of intellectual property rights. Mr. Rohit Patel, the president. Mr. P.R. Joshi, the vice president. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I didn't quite expect such a formal session as this has become so early in the morning. In Ahmedabad, 9:30 is very early. In Ahmedabad, we don't begin the day at 9:30. We take lunch at 10:30. We begin the day at 11:30, and live life happily ever after, comfortably. So it's early and to be so formal, and I didn't quite prepare for either a presentation. I didn't make a PowerPoint presentation because I say if your points have power, you don't need PowerPoint. So, and Mr. Joshi began giving the history of awarding patents, a thing which actually I was going to give a little recent history of TRIPS, the trade-related intellectual property rights. History means, I wanted to begin with giving you the example, one of my childhood memories of a railway station, a third-class train compartment. The people who are inside, they've already choked the compartment. Anybody who wants to come inside, they'll push him out. The whole crowd will push all the crowd which is outside the compartment away. Now, some of those get into the compartment. Once they get into the compartment, they again start pushing all those who are still left out away. So it's some kind of game which goes on where everybody who's inside the compartment and those who keep on entering the compartment, they keep joining the party which is pushing all those who are outside the compartment out of the, they keep them pushing away. So it was something like that when World Trade Organization, the developed countries, they started saying that we should have agreement on trade-related intellectual property rights. Mr. Joshi explained how relevant and important intellectual property is today. But then there was a wrangling like this train compartment with all the developing countries which were outside the compartment. They were getting pushed. And it was not easy to get inside that compartment. Developing countries said, look, all said and done, we have large scale of employment based on these kind of intellectual properties being sold. There are people who are selling so many things, and if we suddenly impose stringent restrictions demanded by the developed world, it would cause widespread unemployment. And so, and the developing countries reminded the developed world of the fact that countries like Netherlands and Switzerland did a lot of reverse engineering in 19th century. As a matter of fact, reverse engineering became the source for the growth of many European countries. Germany was the one which perhaps began the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution led to, for the first time, intellectual property being recognized. And you had other countries of Europe which started doing a lot of reverse engineering. Netherlands was known for reverse engineering in 19th century and became a industrial power to reckon. And then, of course, it joined the group which was inside the railway compartment, the Switzerland. We know of Japan. Japan imported technologies in the aftermath of Second World War. It imported thousands of technologies from US and did a lot of reverse engineering. And Japan's strength, industrial strength, as a matter of fact, arose from this reverse engineering. And today Japan has one of the most stringent intellectual property regime, the regulatory regime. So this is how it is gone. There's no doubt that as the value addition is reaching more and more the higher ends of creativity, it's not the materials, it's actually the knowledge which contributes to the value of the ultimate product. As the human being is trying to go for those levels of creativity which lead to the ultimate requirements of humanity, and it is knowledge which plays a major role in that, and not so much the materials. And therefore, there is no way one can deny the fact that knowledge today is certainly the most important part of value addition, and must be the investments on knowledge must get their returns. But this is how it has moved, and in World Trade Organization, finally the developed world's countries, they gave the in the bargain, they said the developing world would have a more easy access to the markets if they implemented the TRIPS regime in their countries. China came out. China was not a member of WTO, but India finally became a member, and today we are a country which advocate protection of intellectual property rights. We have a regulatory regime which is one of the most strong regulatory framework for intellectual property rights. In fact, Copyright Act in India is one of the strongest laws prescribing for minimum 7 days jail, up to a maximum of 3 years of jail term in case there is an infringement of copyright which is caught and prosecuted. And most of the software piracy in India is covered under Copyright Act. So today the situation is we are a country creating. We have created a regulatory framework. We are required to implement WTO standard international intellectual property right protection law. We were supposed to implement it by 2005. We have made remarkable progress in this area. You recall the NASSCOM, BSA raids across the whole country in different major towns, where they recovered a lot of pirated software, and a lot of cases were made at that point of time. We have number of incentives for innovation. We have declared excise duty waiver on patented products. We have declared exemption from drug price control order for the patented products, weighted tax deduction on R&D expenditure. We have accelerated depreciation allowance. We have tax holiday to R&D companies. We have income tax relief on R&D expenditure and tax deduction for sponsoring research. So these are the incentives that India has announced in the process of protecting, encouraging innovation. We have special cells for copyright enforcement in 23 of the Indian states, typically Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Andaman, I think most of the states. We have created Copyright Enforcement Advisory Council across the country, and these are special cells. There are special cells in the state police headquarters, encouraging setting up of collective administration societies and organization of, and there are seminars and workshops like these which are being organized to create greater awareness of copyright laws. So India has moved significantly towards the implementation of Copyright Act. And yet, you see, even in the developed world, while this law remains, The fact is that there have been violations which have been happening across the globe. Some of the famous cases which have caught the attention of the globe, some of those which I'll mention now, like Apple. Apple has sued Samsung in Japan over alleged patent violations for Galaxy S, the Galaxy S phone, and sought $1.3 million as compensation for damages. Angry Birds, its maker sued the patent violation. Angry Birds is a game which has more than 1 million downloads per day. And the maker, Rovio, it is being sued by the US firm Lodsys for patent violations. The Apple ended up paying $5 million in patent infringement settlement for touchscreen technology violation. The maker of Elan Microelectronics sued Apple for this infringement. And these are all big wigs of the world who have ended up paying fine and penalties for alleged violation of patent rights. Two Indian companies, Lupin sued Ranbaxy for patent in US for patent infringement. And the allegation was a copyright version, a copycat version of a drug which was sold by Ranbaxy in US market. Yahoo ended up losing a patent infringement case of $12.4 million. It was a case pertaining to Yahoo Messenger. I am Van Mentz, the little background theme for Yahoo Messenger, and the appeal was rejected and Yahoo had to pay $12.4 million. Similarly, Microsoft patent infringement appeal was denied and it was asked to pay $290 million. It was sued by I4I in 2007 over technology used in Microsoft Word that violated the Canadian company's patents. Then, on the other hand, Microsoft says Motorola's Android phones, they infringe its patents. The world's largest software maker that began arguing its US trade case that Android-based smartphones made by Motorola Mobility Holdings use technology derived from Microsoft inventions. In a trial before the International Trade Commission of US has the power to stop imports of products that violate US patent rights. This case was the first smartphone dispute, and it would buy Motorola Mobility for $12.5 billion to obtain patents that could be used as a bulwark against a surge of lawsuits targeting handsets and tablets, computers that use Google's Android operating system. So these are some of the cases where major players in the world, in spite of the best of the IPR management framework within the companies, have ended up paying compensation and penalties for violations which have been proven in the court. So this is where we stand today. Therefore, it becomes incumbent for corporates to ensure that while they're entering contracts and agreements, particularly with offshore vendors, they take certain steps and make sure that the intellectual property regime is not violated. Some of the best practices would include understanding the intellectual property rights in the first place, setting up an international intellectual property protection team. It's an ongoing business responsibility and not a one-time act. This makes it very critical to have a team in the company that is responsible for monitoring their intellectual properties and violations. It's important to examine that the work entities that can be copyrighted and patented so an ongoing evaluation of the company's work entities to identify copyright protection is very critical. One should check out the history of the offshore vendor. If the company is planning to enter into vendor relationship with an offshore entity, it is required to exercise extreme caution in understanding the vendor's history. It is a good idea to define IP violation clause in the contract when you enter into a contract. It is a good idea to seek a reference check for all the team members of the company that you're entering into a contract. So some of these best practices would be, I am sure, discussed during the course of the 2 days that you're going to have, and you have a galaxy of eminent speakers to discuss all these issues. This is the decade of innovation for India, and today, during this decade of innovation, the other day only, when I was in National Science Congress, Honorable Prime Minister announced 2% of the GDP as the budget for scientific research. Now, 2% of the GDP is a huge amount, and if the nation is able to assign that kind of monies to scientific research, you can imagine the kind of investment that is going to go in the research and development in this country. In any case, the country's total commitment to the government's total commitment to science and technology. It's one of the largest number of scientists engaged in government laboratories in this country. And India has started now appearing on the center stage of research. The other day you would have read a newspaper article which is said in the context of National Science Congress only, that in terms of chemistry, India's number of papers published in index journals are very sizable, have to be taken note by the world. It is coming to something like 22% of the total papers published across the globe in the scientific journals. So with this investment in the scientific research, it is not a day too soon that we have these deliberations here. We are now poised to put intellectual property protection at a higher level in our agenda. We ensure that the investment we make in research and the innovation that we achieve as a result of that gives its due returns to our country, to the corporates, to the people who invest their knowledge in the purpose. And with that, I would to wish this conference a success. I wish the boys and girls, a large number of young boys and girls who have registered for this conference, they go back with the enlightenment on all the dimensions of the subject that is being discussed during these 2 days. Thank you very much.